Hi guys, welcome back to the Green TMD in O-Gauge. As you can see, the depot is now filling up with Type 5 traction with a little interloper on the outside here. The pilots are over there. So what do we need to balance this all out? That's right, more Type 5 traction. So on the workbench I have ready my other Class 56, the large logo version, and we have the other version of the ESU Loksound chip. We now have the XL and it has the screw terminals, and we're going to go through fitting that to the logo. That is today's little project. So stay tuned, let's get to the workbench. Here we have the same little circuit board that we had on the other logo. Let's just turn this around so they're all the right way up. Makes life easier for reading. And again, we have this goes down to the board underneath for the fan control unit. So we'll just move him out of the way. Orange and grey wires are the motor at each end. Orange and grey. The red and black are for the pickups. Red and black, and all these others are for working the lights. So again, we'll just remove the board, 4 screws. Just pick that up, chip them over the back. Three. Four. So we'll unravel all these enormous coils of wire. There's always one that's tight. That's green wire. There we go. So we just, that blue wire goes through it, which is typical. But there we go. As before, lots of wires. Here is the new chip, considerably larger than the current one. It all lines up nicely with these outer holes. However, there's no threaded in the holes themselves. I might see if I can find a tap. I've got some taps. I don't think they're that small, but I'll have a look, see if I can screw them in. But for now, we'll just connect it up as it is and sit it on top. First thing I'm going to do is to disconnect all the motors and all the pickups. So it's the orange, grey, black and red wires, the large wires. So that's giving us a bit more room. Move them out of the way. Motors and track. And I'll do the same on this end. Motor. And track, which leaves that all as just white lighting and fan control unit. So we have on this board here motor minus, track left, track right and motor plus. I'll just bring that up closer to you here so hopefully you can read that. Motor minus there, motor plus, track left and track right. I've gone and bought myself a nice new pair of cutters. Nice and sharp they are, because the last ones were starting to get chewed up on the ends. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two wires run them up the back here, and these two wires I'll run up this side. They're a bit shorter and won't give us a lot of room to manoeuvre once they're connected up. Unfortunately, so I'm not going to cut the wires from this end, but I will trim back the wires from this end. So we can just connect up this one. So we have red is track left, and black from this end is also track left. So I'm just going to snip a little bit off. Doesn't have to be an enormous amount, but just to make it a bit more or less snaky, and yeah, they're very sharp. I'm going to use my old ones for stripping back, because all they're doing is cutting through. So my old chewed up pair will make, there we go. Third time lucky, come on, there we go. So there I have my wire. I might make them a little bit longer, just so that I can wrap the two together, because it's going in the screw terminal, just to give it a bit more for the screw to bite on, with two wires in there together. Track left. So these two together are track left, and go into the track left, which is the first terminal on the board here. So we'll put those in together nicely. There's one, there's two, and screw it down nice and tight. The next one, obviously, track right. So we are talking the black wire from this end and the red wire from this end. So again, we'll just take a little bit off of this one. There's one, there's two, back to one again. This is why, one reason I quite liked actually the solder pad on the L version rather than the screw terminal. Nice and tight. So there we have the two track feeds connected on. We now want the motor connecting. So we've got the orange wire from this side is motor plus, and the grey wire on that side slipping back to about there. Here's motor plus. So put these in here. These ones haven't been undone, so unscrew the terminal. There's one wire in. Second wire. And do the same again this one, motor minus. And they go into this one here, the 5th terminal up. There is a choice, I can put just one wire into this motor minus. That's one motor minus, and this motor minus. So we'll unscrew that one just to make sure. The little thing is down at the bottom. Put the wire in and then clamp it up. So there we have all the track and all the wires for the motors connected up. So we can actually test it. Okay, so we select Loco 3 and let's give it a go. Not really, that's the other one. But Loco 3 we got in one direction. She works nicely. And give it a stop. And bring it back. What we now have to work out is what is the front end of the logo, because it's quite uniform by both sides. But what is different on this 56 is we have some plastic plates here either side of this motor. That is number one end because that is where the radiator grills go. So this is the front, this is the rear. And from our previous version that we did with the other chip, we know the yellow green are the front lights, the red and black are the cab lights, and the blue and purple are the tail lights. So I'm just going to disconnect everything. I'm going to be brave or foolish, one of the two we'll discover as we go. But it'll again give us some room. We can separate the wires because we still have the switch to disconnect and bypass. So some of these wires will disappear because we're controlling digitally, not via the switch underneath the logo. Pop, pop, pop. This is where I think I should have just photographed it first, because I'm going to guarantee I'm going to get a wire wrong somewhere, but we hope not. But then it's a learning curve for everybody, isn't it? Some of these are just so tight. Gotcha. So that's another board disconnected. We can now separate the wires nicely. So we've got this end wires we'll put down there, and this end wires we'll just pull back. Tuck them out the way over here. So we can see, there we go. There's one end, that's number 2 end wires, rear, front. Now if you remember from last time, we had the wires that just go down through the light switches under the floor. We'll disconnect those, pull them out of the way, and these two we don't need to use those because we're going direct from the board. So we'll do as we did last time, we just get a screwdriver, wrap them round, just coil them up neatly out of the way and tuck them under here. And do the same for these. Neatly coiled up and tucked under there. There we go. So they're out the way. Take that board. Tuck him out the way. So there we go, neat and tidy. We can see what we're doing. And just reading the instructions, the auxiliary one is actually the fan. But we're going to ignore that. It's 2 and 3. 4 and 5 for the tail lights and the cab lights. So first off, front lights and back lights. So the front lights, we decided yellow is the common, so that's the U+. We'll keep him here out the way, and we put the green wire to front, FL. So he's again a bit long, so I'm just going to prune him down a little bit. Strip him back, and he goes to the front light. Put him in there, get the right screwdriver and screw him down. He's already screwed down, so again, like I say, it's easy to miss the wires and be on the wrong side of the clamp. So right, we'll put him back in this time, screw him down. So that's the front light, and the rear light is the other green wire from the other end. We won't shorten him, so we'll just make sure that's unscrewed. Tuck that green wire into rear light, because that's the back. There we go. So now we have the other end, the purple and the blue wire. Number 1 end goes into auxiliary 2, number 2 end goes into auxiliary 3. And for these bits we want the blue wire. He's a bit short, so we'll just bring him up this side. So this one, again, we can shorten down a little bit, just to keep it a little bit tidier. So, again, this end tail light in auxiliary 2, which is this one here. Auxiliary 2, and this one goes into auxiliary 3. See, we're flying along. Let's push the other one in just a little bit more. So that's the tail lights. So that's a common, and that's a common. So the yellow and the purples need to come up this end together from both ends. if there's room. There's a purple and this yellow. Not too worried about these being short because we've got to add a resistor, and we can add a short bit of wire as well at the same time, just to extend things and help keep them tidy. Put it through there, under those ones. And then up there. So yeah, it definitely needs a slight extension, but we'll sort that out when we connect them up together. So now we have the red and the black wires. So the red wires again will be the common wire, the positive feed. Bring this one up. With the purple, the reds and the yellows, so these all got to go together, and they go together, and then they will join up on the board together, which leaves the black for this one, number 1 end again, the front, in auxiliary 4. Number 4. Trying to see, I can't see. The tripod's in the way. So that's auxiliary 4. And this one, feed up through again. Just draw him out of here, keep him neat and tidy. Lay him up there. Go under the purple and the yellow. And he goes into auxiliary 5. Well, it's quite easy, wasn't it? So all we've got to do now is connect all these together with a 1K resistor. We need now to connect these 6 wires together, the yellow, the purple and the red. They're all together here, twisted up. You need a 1K ohm resistor, brown, black and red. A bit of wire to extend and some heat shrink. Now I'm struggling here because I think I've cut these wires a little on the short side and I can't get the heat shrink down over, so I might struggle with that one. I might have to use tape, but ideally we would use heat shrink. So nice clean hot tip on the iron and tin these wires and they all stick together. And again on the bit of wire here, I'm just going to tin the end. Just so it sticks nicely on the resistor. I'm going to shorten the resistor because we definitely don't need it this long. So just snip a bit of a leg off that side and snip a bit of a leg off that side. And being just a resistor, it doesn't matter which way around it goes. But first off, I'm just going to wrap this wire around. Sorry, you didn't see. Just wrapped that wire around the shortened leg, and I'm going to tin that with and join them together. This is where I need helping hands, so I'll just move the Lego back for a minute. Grip the resistor and a little bit of solder. That's one end done. So now for the other end, we'll just tin this end of the resistor leg. Job done. So there we have all the 6 wires together on the resistor. It's only LEDs, it's not lots of power going through this, but it's there. And I'm just going to snip a little bit of heat shrink, drop it over this end, because I can still get to this end, and shrink that on there. So that end's all neat. Now I've just got to find a little bit of insulation tape. So now all I've got is this little piece of insulation tape, and I'm just going to wrap it around here just to make sure we don't short out on anything. That would have been better with the heat shrink, but due to my error, I don't have enough room to get the wires in together. So there we go, I've got that all around there. And I'll just add another little bit around the body of the resistor to hold it all together. And that's it. So we'll now tuck that underneath the board. And connect this to U+. So there we have everything. I'm not going to connect up the fan because I don't bother with the fans. I'm going to put a bit of tape on the back just to protect the back, and then just secure it onto here. I don't have a 2mm tap to thread the holes. I go down to M3, so that is not going to happen, but I don't want to short circuit anything. So just a bit of protection on the back of the board. I'm not going to cover everything, it's just near where the legs are. Just so we don't short out onto the legs. and with a little bit of tape secure it on the board. So that's not going to go anywhere, and that's the wiring done. The only thing we haven't yet connected up is the speakers. Now I've got a great big EM3 thing here, or a mega bass speaker or something, but anyway, this is what I've got in the Class 60. This is obviously different to what is in the other 56. It will not fit in the tank of this particular loco, even with the lugs cut off. So this one will have to go inside and will be secured on top here inside the roof, and then we'll go and get it on the layout. But first off, let's get the speaker connected up. We have the loco now back on the track. Body's on, speakers mounted, everything is connected up, and I haven't yet got all the functions mapped in, but we've got enough to get on with just to make sure we're working properly. So function 1, as we know, sound on. And that sounds different to the other one because we've got a different speaker in it. So function 2 is the brake, function 3 is the horn, 4 is the other one. What I've got on here is the speed lock, so we'll just lock the speed at 0 and then open the throttle. Throttle down. But if I then turn off the throttle set, speed set button, now I can drive it properly with some lights on. Function 2 is the brake. F2 for the brake. And if I just get it creeping, speed step 14, and then lock the speed in, we can play with the throttle and make lots of noise. And for those who think it might be the other loco again, she's over the back of the shed behind the bubble car. There we go, just to prove there's two different locos. And there we have it. So now we've got 4 Type 5 locos running on Heather Green. There we have it guys. 4th Type 5 power all connected up. I really need to do some more of these Cromptons. I've got 5 up on the shelf. Need to get some sound chips for those, get a few more locos that we can run around on the depot. So there we have it. Any questions? You know the drill. You got the comment section below, or for our Facebook groups and things, you can drop me a message and I'll answer to the best of my ability. So with that all done, enjoy your modelling, stay safe, see you soon. Bye for now.